And I heard that there was a group of pastors dreaming about gathering people under the banner of Christ to proclaim the power of the cross in anticipation of the resurrection. I said, I'm in.
One of my favorite things about the breakfast is the feeling of the Holy Spirit.
When we started this 3 years ago, I did not know enough about pastoral territory. And what I've seen is the breakdown of walls. We'll have 85 to 90 pastors here tomorrow. The intimate ones that are working on this project are all hugging each other, high-fiving each other. The breakfasts and the breaking of bread and the coffees are phenomenal. Those are probably what encouraged me the most. It really is a Holy Spirit move of we're all in this together. We're all trying to fulfill the mission of Christ.
I think it's important that we have this young city, this growing city, with people moving here every day. It's got a bright future. And the question is, what are people going to find when they move here, when they come here? Is there going to be a spiritual foundation? Is there going to be a sense in which that we've got people here who are ready to engage people in relationship with Jesus, who are excited about leading them, people that come here from all over the place? What will they find when they get here?
I was walking in the forest in January of 2014 in Prescott, and all of a sudden the Holy Spirit spoke to me and said, hey, he says, I want you to do something for me to honor me for going to the cross for Good Friday. And that was the end of the subject. And I thought, oh Lord, what's going on? Me? Why me? Why do you want me to do this? And then about a week went by and I'm in the forest again and I'm praying, I'm walking, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden the Holy Spirit speaks to me and says, hey, I want you to take charge of this Good Friday. I want you to honor me. And I thought, okay, Lord, I don't know what to do. Will you guide me? And just like magic, God just performed a miracle.
And I'm just so excited about this event. It has grown from 300 to 1,000 people. I just can't wait to see what God's going to do tomorrow. I know He's going to do some amazing things, and we're going to see the hand of God working. And I just hope that people are inspired in their heart as much as I am already.
You're taking part in an event that is really exploding, and it's exploded over the past few years. In fact, just 2 years ago when this started, there were only about 250 people here. And then last year, unbeknownst to anyone's expectations, there were 700 people here. But this year, today, I've been told that we have over 1,100 people here at this event. Isn't that great?
Only eternity will discover how profoundly God has used Greg Laurie to carry the greatest message in all of eternity to lost humanity. Ladies and gentlemen, would you welcome with me this Good Friday morning, Pastor Greg Laurie.
I mean, think about this. The creator of the universe is hanging on the cross and he says, I thirst. I mean, he could have spoken water into existence had he chosen to. But have you ever noticed that Jesus never did a miracle for his personal benefit? It was always for others. If I were Jesus, that would have been very hard for me because being God, he knew all things. He knew the future. He had all power.
I think it's great when we get together for these Good Friday events because they break down all the denominational boundaries that typically divide us, and we concentrate on one thing, and that's Jesus Christ, the most important thing.
I love seeing what God's doing here in the West Valley. I truly love our community. I've had the chance to be a part of the West Valley for a number of years. And Easter weekend, I mean, this is the heart of what our faith is all about. I love the fact that on this day, we get together as a community with so many leaders and so many people to remember what Jesus did.
Even when tempted by the devil after fasting for 40 days and 40 nights to turn the rocks into bread, he refused. He could have answered his own prayer, if you will, but he cries out, I thirst. And you want to remember that Though Jesus was fully God, he was also fully man. There's never a man that walked the earth like Jesus. He was not man becoming God, that's impossible. He was God becoming a man. And he never laid his divinity aside, even for a moment. And he felt the pressures of life on earth like we feel. He lived our life, he breathed our air, he walked in our shoes, he died our death, and then he rose again from the dead 3 days later. So no matter what you're going through, know this, God knows what it's like. You know, maybe right now your body is racked with pain, so is his. If you've ever been misunderstood or misjudged or misrepresented, so is he. If you've ever had your closest friends turn away from you, that happened to him as well. If you've ever been betrayed, he was betrayed also. He was there facing all of this difficulty and all of this suffering just for us.
Well, I think ultimately, no matter what your perspective is, we're all broken sinners that stand before a holy God, and we are inadequate in ourselves. And this celebration or this observance of Good Friday and Easter is the holiest of all Christian observances, because it points to the death, burial, and resurrection of Christ. And I think it was Yaroslav Pelikan that said, "If Christ be risen, nothing else matters."
It was difficult times in Arizona when I was governor. I inherited a real controversial economic disaster in our state as well as in the country. So we were faced with lots of problems and issues and no money, and it was awful. And we used to encourage our staff members to pray, but we used to pray in a group, and when things really got bad, we would hold hands and we would pray that Jesus would guide us and lead us through the tumultuous times that we were facing, and he never let us down.
I carried a lot of guilt and shame as a young man, but as a college athlete on a college campus, I was an All-American runner, got invited to a Fellowship of Christian Athletes event. I went to that event, heard the gospel clearly for the first time, received Christ, and from that day forward, it's been the great adventure. And so I could not even believe that God's now utilizing me in this place of PureFlix as the Chief Outreach Officer for a global organization to share Christ around the globe. So who would have thought then as a young student athlete on campus, that decision to follow Christ was going to help me be a catalyst for changing the world.